All right. Yeah, let's get into this. So, our next review is going to be for the film Megalopolis. Megalopolis is the latest Francis Ford Coppola film. You know Francis Ford Coppola. It says right there in the trailer, five-time Academy Award-winning Francis Ford Coppola. He's the director of The Godfather, Godfather 2, and but and also Apocalypse Now. He's made some of the greatest movies ever made there. And even he made Jack. I mean, who doesn't love Jack, right? I mean, it's also a very classic there. So he's back with this new film here with a star-studded cast. And what is this film about? Well, it's about a man who is named Caesar there, Caesar Cantanelia, and it's played by Adam Driver. And he's this brilliant architect there, and he has a vision for this city of New Rome there, and that is to build this megalon, this beautiful kind of megalopolis, beautiful city there that can host all these people and be for the future, be for everyone there. But kind of the people there are people standing in his way. One of them being Mayor Cicero, is played by Giancarlo Esposito. There, who's trying to stop this vision of the future there. So that's kind of the main kind of setup here. You see kind of there the conflict between Adam Driver's character and the mayor, who's played by Giancarlo Esposito. Also, you have Natalia Emanuel, who plays the daughter of the mayor in this, who's kind of in between both of them there, who's first distrusting of the Caesar character played by Adam Driver, then kind of learns to recognize his genius there. And this movie, much like with Joker 2, has a lot of it has been talked about before this movie even come out. I mean, also the development of this movie. I mean, this is probably one of the longest movies that's been in development ever. I mean, Francis Ford Coppola has been talking about doing this movie since the 70s. You know what I mean? Over 40 years he's been talking about doing this movie there and getting it done. And then finally he decided to just fund it himself. He sold part of his vineyard there in order for the production of this movie, and this movie has a production cost about 120 to 136 million dollars. He also went to studios to try to get money for marketing of this movie. Got to get 100 million dollars in marketing, and the studios looked at this shit and was like, "We're not doing that. I mean, this shit is fucking crazy. How the hell we gonna market this shit?" So that didn't really happen as much there to get that huge marketing budget for this that he wanted. But it is finally out and finally here. It is something to talk about for sure, which we're gonna do here. I started with Chris first there last time, I think, right? I think I was starting with him first. I'll start with you, Zach. What do you think about Megalopolis here?
So I have a confession. This is my first Francis Ford Coppola film, so that's kind of wild.
What?
Um,
I
uh,
I didn't hear you correctly.
this is my first Francis Ford Coppola film.
Oh my.
If you don't know this about me, I call myself the baby cinephile because I haven't seen. I love movies, but I haven't seen a lot of classic films. And part of the reason why I started my channel so I could watch them and then review them in modern eyes of not having nostalgia attached to it. But yeah, let me stop advertising myself. But this was my first time seeing any of his films. But also another confession: this was probably the most fun I've had in the theater all year. Because this movie is absolutely bonkers and in every single way, visually, acting wise. This is how you market the movie. You take this and you put this in trailers and places that was gonna get people into the movie. That's one of the funniest clips I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, I reviewed this movie and I couldn't even rate it because I was just like, how do I rate this? I love chunks of this. I think chunks of it is stupid. I think chunks of it is brilliant. I think chunks of this literally needs to be taken out of the movie. I think it's like I felt trapped in this movie for like the last 40 minutes. I thought I was there for 3 hours. And I was just like, what is going on? Why is Shia LaBeouf hissing? I don't know. I was just like, what the hell is going on in this movie? But also there was a lot of earnesty in there in terms of like what his message was in terms of like getting everyone together and creating a better future. And even though he took 13 lefts to get to that simple point, I enjoyed the journey. It's a beautiful mess. It's a bad movie that I love. That's really like my full thoughts on it. I know it's bad, but I love it.
Back to the club.
Oh, you didn't have sound with it? Let me see. Let me turn it up there a little bit for you there. I'll play it again there for you.
Go back to the club.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Chris, what are some of your thoughts there, man, on Megalopolis here?
So very similar to Joker Folia do. I would be lying if I said I was not invested. Um, I do. My mom is. I don't know why, but growing up, she was so big on the mafia stuff. She loved how these Italian gangsters were so gentle towards their women and children, but at nighttime were so violent towards each other. Like that, she liked that part of mafia culture. So The Godfather, those movies I did see, maybe too young. But with Megalopolis, I love actors, and this is a star-studded cast. It's messy. It's really messy. It's muddled. It's convoluted. I was following it until I was like, okay, are we still telling the same story? Are we doing like there were some subplots that were introduced and some sequences that I felt did not serve what was supposed to be said at the end of the movie. I really enjoyed the fact how much it reminded me of Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. Just the image of like these wealthy young people racing down the street, all obnoxious. There's like an off-camera commentator voice saying, "I think they're sleeping with each other," and but like they're cousins. And again, Shia LaBeouf like in a dress and makeup. It just reminded me of the actor from The Matrix who played Mercutio in that movie, and also like John Leguizamo was just so flashy and flamboyant, and just that kind of metrosexual energy was like, for me at least, was like really captured in this movie, and it just kind of reminded me of that time. Also, kind of reminded me of Great Gatsby. Like this movie was very shiny. And again, just the way wealth is shown, and the way certain people like Aubrey Plaza, her character was WoW Platinum, and she's just this kind of cartoony, overzealous reporter who's just like screaming at people who didn't want to interview with me. That kind of energy. It was very. I guess the Megalopolis had that kind of bombastic energy. I guess that Joker 2 kind of could have used, but yeah, it's I gave it 3 stars because I was invested, but it's not a great movie. It's not.
Dusk. What about your thoughts there, man?
This movie is a flamboyant mess, and it is both amazing and drags like a knife. It is strangely compelling while at the same time confusing. But when you understand what's happening, you kind of realize, oh no, it's still going to keep going. Because once you understand what the plot actually is about, it just keeps going, and scenes happen. But I can't look away. I have to keep watching. And at a certain point, post hour in, I was just like the greats, the great crazy movies. I was just looking at my own hands, going, "Did I somehow fall asleep?" I'm half thinking of this. Oh, Lawrence Fishburne. Oh, he talks. Oh, he's the narrator of all of this. He's the grounding of anything here, and yet he also puzzled me throughout most of this as he was asked to say. You know what? Without spoiling anything, let's just give a grounding for everybody to understand what this movie's about. Megalopolis is a mix of many different genres and movies. This is mostly a interpretation of America in an alternative future where they had a lot of Roman influence, to the point where people are named after famous people in Roman culture, including Catalina, which is based on Catiline, Cicero, and even Kaiser or Caesar, as it's referred to as. Many characters have their names, so it's like linked to the specific event in 63 BC of the Catilinarian conspiracy, which was the attempt that Catalina tried to take over and overthrow the Roman Council, who encompassed Cicero and Hybrida, I believe. And it has elements of that in this movie. And I use the word elements because this movie has so much going on in certain scenes, so many ideas. It's like a smorgasbord is in front of you, but you're tied to a chair and the chair keeps moving like a side scroller. Like you're on a conveyor. And before you can get a hand of like something to eat, you're already moving past like, no, you gotta grab something else. American cultures. Wait, assassination attempts. Wait, no. Fountainhead. What's Fountainhead doing here? There's just a book of Fountainhead here. No, Atlas Shrugged. Other books and materials. Why is there Christianity material here and here now? Oh, and Quran, I guess there's a Quran in here. We keep moving, and you want to grab something, and you end up just grabbing a bunch of different stuff in your plate that don't go together. But at the same time, you did get something to eat at the end. Whether you liked it or not, it was trying to say something.
Okay. So I think Megalopolis is a movie that it only makes sense to Francis Ford Coppola. If I was inside his head, this would probably be the best movie ever. And the way it makes sense to him, and the way he has it, and the way he plans it all out. I think it works for him there. I'm not Francis Ford Coppola. I'm not inside his head, so I can't see the vision totally there. What's going on?
You have to consider this movie was made. He wanted to make this movie in the 70s, and honestly, the way this movie is structured, the way the script looks like it looks like what would have been a multiple part movie that was condensed down to one. Because I can feel the 70s influence in this. If this was made in 1977 and this came out, I think a lot of people would actually be talking about this movie till today about this. It'd be one of those strange movies that Coppola did in his day and may not be his most popular, but this is going to be talked about regardless, whether you like it or not, or whether it's understood or not. I know there are going to be a lot of memes. There are already memes, but there's going to be so many more.
I mean, even from that same scene that we just played, there's also this with Natalia Emmanuel that got a lot of people playing this there. The Entitles Me.
Oh, yeah.
Entitles me?
Yes.
Entitles me?
Yes.
Entitles me?
Yes.
You have no...
Well, I mean, yeah, just in case you didn't get it, I mean, what they said there. So some people say, is this almost like also the same thing? Are they doing these line reads kind of bad on purpose there to create some kind of effect there with this?
This movie is very stage play.
And you mentioned, I mean, the cast here, because of course it's Francis Ford Coppola, so you can get a lot of these, star-studded people here. Besides, I already mentioned Adam Driver, Natalia Emmanuel, you got John Carlos Esposito, you got Aubrey Plaza, you got Shia LaBeouf, you got John Voight, you got Lord Fishburne, Jason Schwartzman there. I mean, really, really star-studded cast there. Catherine Hunter is also in this. So, yeah, great cast of actors that you have in this.
Cast.
But it being so many actors, and Dustin Hoffman, who's also in this movie, he comes and goes. I didn't even know he left. It's like he came in one scene, then all of a sudden he's not in any more scenes. I couldn't even understand what the hell he was saying really anyway when he was on camera.
Oh no, not at all.
So I mean, I don't know if he maybe had something medically going on. I don't know, but I could not.
I think it was the prosthetic nose.
Maybe that's what it was, because it was a lot of
he had a huge nose, and it was like, I don't know if that was like the nasal part, and it was hard for him to speak through, but he had some of the worst deliveries in the movie. That Dustin Hoffman, the limited time he's there.
And there's so many plot lines and stories that happen and just go nowhere. There's a whole scandal that happens with the Caesar character, and it's like that doesn't. It's like what was even the point of that? That doesn't really go anywhere. That comes and goes. Nathalie Emmanuel, all of a sudden she's one moment she's here, and then all of a sudden she pops up with another thing in the movie there, and you know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie, and it's also wait, when did like I know she said this was going to happen, but like how long has time gone by, and then this showed up. Um, and then I know so many people also with this movie seems like they really want it to fail and want this to bomb, and it also this movie isn't doing very well in the box office there with this. And you know, you have things that came out about this movie with Francis Ford Coppola with the extras thing there about him kissing extras on set, but he says that you know the women that he kissed on set was that women that he knew there. So there's that, and then you did have one extra saying like, "Well, I felt perfectly okay on set," you know, and then you have another extra saying that I didn't, and it kind of came out of nowhere, and I wasn't expecting it, so I felt uncomfortable with that. So you had that going on. Also, Francis Ford Coppola also coming out. I mean, you know, talking about this movie, you know, putting these actors in here, actors who've been canceled and who face that. And I'm going to put them in the movie there. That's why you maybe have certain people like Shia LaBeouf and John Boyd in here. Even though I think like you said, it's more like Dust mentioned, it's about and Zach mentioned the vision of the future and everybody together. They're working for a common goal there, no matter the differences, all that good shit there. You got that. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff happening. It was an assault on the senses, in every sense of the word, and visually, and the audio, and just every sense you could possibly have, and it was an assault on it. And yeah, I mean, I can see definitely people loving it, and I can see definitely why people hate it, and I fall more on the side of, yeah, I would never watch this again. There's some, you know, a solid looking movie, some good visuals there in some parts, but I would probably never watch this again. Zach, what about you? What's some more thoughts on you got on Megalopolis?
I think you guys made a good point with so much happening. Like I see someone in the comments talking about someone getting shot in the face and the scandal and all these things that would be a big part of a movie that we were set in and watched. Everything just got wrapped up real fast. Like Shia LaBeouf's character, he starts getting like a big part in the third act, and like that got wrapped up real fast. Like he was like a Trump stand-in, and they kind of like, you know,
more like
he stood like a Nazi sign. I was like, oh, I know what you think about this guy now. The Aubrey Plaza, who was probably the most interesting character in the movie, kind of like was there for a little while, then
wow
disappeared.
platinum.
Yeah, and then came back and was like a main villain. I was like, what is happening? What were you doing this whole time? Now you have power and you're a villain and you're showing your ass out. It was a lot. But like I said, like you guys said, like I couldn't stop watching. It was like a car crash that was so beautiful and staged. And I couldn't stop watching even though I was in danger. And I enjoyed myself. I'm definitely gonna rewatch this. I think this movie is gonna be called a cult classic in 10 years. And they're gonna re-examine it and find themes that we didn't find in the movie, and all of a sudden this is the best movie in the world. And then the 4-hour cut's gonna come out, and everybody's gonna look at this. But yeah, like I said, this is one of my favorite experiences because of how fun it was. I watch a lot of movies, sometimes two movies in the theater a week, and a lot of films feel similar. And even though I enjoy them, they do feel similar because they're pulling off from something that came before. Every coming age story feels like it pulls from the last coming of age story. Every action movie feels like it comes from the last action movie. This does not feel like anything other than maybe you could say, what was the other movie that from the black and white movie that's kind of similar? Not Mega, Metropolis.
Metropolis,
That's
the
probably that's the
1923 Metropolis, one of the
yeah.
first major
This
epic
the
films.
only thing that is kind of similar to, but it's still very different. This is one of the most original films I've seen in a long time. Yeah, it's chaotic and messy, but I appreciate seeing something brand new.
I will give the movie that. I mean, as bad shit as it is, and it may be not my cup of tea, as far as how crazy it kind of gets and incoherent. Hey, it's his vision, right? This is what Francisco is. His art, his vision. It's out there for people to see and consume there. And just like I said, so many things that would be such huge pivotal moments, like him getting shot and this whole political rivalry there. And then also he can stop time. Nobody go. I know. Does anybody go like, wait, he can stop fucking time? Like, what the hell? Like, wait a minute, what's that? And then he controls it rare metal on Earth that nobody else controls there. So
It's technically not a metal. He describes it in one scene near the very beginning of the movie when he's describing it. It's a bioorganic metal. So it's a metal that is organic in nature and basically what he wants to build all buildings out of so that it can basically do whatever you need to do. It can adjust to whatever civilization needs to adjust to. It's basically the building block of the future.
Yeah. And actually see the city. Actually, I wasn't that impressed. The city kind of looked fucked up to me, actually. It kind of looks AI generated kind of shit. But Chris, what about you, man? Any further thoughts on Megalopolis there?
Again, I was invested, so I was kind of disappointed. But at the end of the movie, we just get Adam Driver's vision. I was the weird person in the audience who wanted to see the construction of the Megalon roads and the walkways, and all. I kind of wanted to see that, in process. So when it's a long movie, and so when we're in the third act and we just jump from all this pushback between Adam Driver and Giancarlo Esposito, like, oh, you're living in the past, well, you keep looking to the future, and you're damaging the people who are still in the present. I liked that push and pull between those two characters, and they're like opposite ideologies, but yeah, it just wasn't always the focus. We mentioned it earlier, the sex scandal thing, that whole Coliseum sequence. I'm like, what is this doing for everything we just set up, and what's it doing for like where we end up? That's like my least favorite part of the movie. I like that song that the pop star sang, but that was for me my least favorite part of the movie. Just Adam Driver just getting fucked up. I'm like,
yeah,
all right,
get out before getting effed up.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love the beginning, and it's always cool to see like a Juilliard actor recite Shakespeare, because it feels so rich and powerful. But yeah, this movie, it wasn't everything I thought it was going to be, and it is very chaotic. But I will agree with Zach. I had fun I had fun in theater watching it. I was invested, so I gave it 3 stars because I was along for the ride, but the destination, I'm like, all right. So I would say tune in.
Tune in.
Tune in.
Final thoughts rating there, Dust?
You know what? I've seen a lot of different movies this year, and seeing Shia LaBeouf get shot in the ass twice was one of the funniest moments in this entire year. And honestly, if this movie can make me laugh and cry and go into hysterics and be blinded by some of the CGI and the brightness setting in this movie, this is why we go to the movies, people. You see something you've never seen before, and I don't know what I watched, but I can tell you this: when this movie comes out on Blu-ray, I will get it on sale. I won't buy full price, but I'm gonna buy it on sale. This will go in the Coppola vault of strange, weird crap. I hope he does do a expanded version of this. I hope it's 4.5 hours long. I hope he does it. Why not? Who gives a crap? Sell more of your vineyard, buddy. Let's go. This is
You still got to get drunk now. I mean, you still got to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely, man, absolutely. Please, is it whatever the amount of money he spent on this movie? He'll make back in wine sale. It's fine. He's made more in the encompassing time with his wine than he ever did in the money he made off of his films, no matter how successful. So, but in all seriousness, this movie is all over the place. The acting is wild, but at the same time, we get to see actors. This is a rare chance for a lot of actors to just go nuts. Nicolas Cage gets a lot of crap, but he's one of the few actors that goes for every single performance he goes through, and that's why I love him as an actor. Because
I wish he was in this.
I know. Oh my god, I wish he was too. He would have been amazing. He would have been amazing.
If he was Adam Driver's character, this would have been a 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah, it was just his like. He just, oh man, I bet you there's a scheduling conflict, or else he would have been. But I felt bad for some of the actors too. John Voight, I felt bad for. He felt so weak, and
Yeah.
a lot of his acting was like, "Oh, where am I?" and I couldn't tell whether that was the character or John Voight. But I don't know what half these characters. I know who they are. I know what he's trying to represent, but a lot of his ideas feel like ideas that never got fully fizzled down into a narrative. But ultimately, this movie is a spectacle. It's a spectacle. It's a ride you're gonna go on, and you're gonna watch, and you're gonna go, well, I was never bored. And that's the best reaction you're probably gonna get from it. Or you're gonna go on this ride, and you're gonna go, all right, I tap out. I'm out. Let me off. I have other things to do than to watch this. And I understand that. I totally understand. But while this movie's in the theaters, I would encourage people to at least go and check it out. This is a tune in. This is a weird tune in because normal circumstances this would be a stream it all day, every day. But we rarely get such a movie in the theaters, and this is a theater experience, especially when halfway through the movie stops dead, narrows down to a single frame, and somebody asks questions, and Adam Driver answers back to a question that was asked from the movie. Or I guess if you're in the theater and you wanted to get the ultimate experience, as some of them, a actual person will come out and pretend to ask the questions.
Yeah.
Coppola made this for him. He made it as an event. He wanted to make it a cinema event. And whether you agree with it or not, I can at least admire the amount of effort he went to make this. Even if it doesn't work, even if it's all over the place, even if it's batshit crazy, it's something unique. And in a couple of years of just the samey kind of movies that come out, or things that are boring or not that interesting, I at least was intrigued. I was never bored. So this is tune in, a rare tune in for this kind of a movie, but this should be seen in theaters just to say you saw it. They should get somebody should get a T-shirt after this. I watched Megalopolis, and I just got this Lassie T-shirt. Where's my wine, Coppola?
What would be your rating?
A real missed out opportunity. I just saw Megalopolis, and just don't explain what that means.
Yeah, no,
like,
I saw Megalopolis. It's like that. A couple of years ago, there in 2018-19, there was the movie Cosmopolis that David Fincher did with.
Oh yes,
that reminded me. This movie reminded me a lot of that. In this movie, there were certain moments where he's just in a limo going place to place, and you're like, what does this have to do with anything? What does this have to do? But more
David Cronenberg, by the way.
Cronenberg. It's one of his most. It's one of his most ridiculous movies. And he's a guy who's made a lot of ridiculous movies. That one is probably one of the ones where it made the least sense.
What rating would you give it there, Zach?
What's above tune in?
Peak.
It's an 8. It's basically like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, basically.
Okay. Give it a peak.
The more I talk about it, the more I like it.
Like I said, this movie is, I guess, an event. Some people might say in the worst way and the best way there. I can see some people saying it, like I said, on their best of voice. I can see some people saying on their best of voice. The movie has that much of a reaction for some people there. It just was, like I said, an assault in every single way there, on the eyeballs, on the ears, in a lot of places there. Trying to follow the story of where it's going, of these plots that come in and out, these characters that come in and out there. And
the crazy thing about it, though, is the sets are actually good. When you're in his office, they have his Art Deco. He went through a lot of effort to make everything match what he was trying to do. There's like inspirations of Art Deco and Ayn Rand. There's inspiration of the Colosseum, but modernized, which is taking from Rome and another series like that. People are in styles of Roman style outfits, but with modern styles of it. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. But also has the Art Deco 1920s flair to it. Like that never quite went away with the with like a Great Gatsby kind of style to it as well.
Exactly.
It's all over. It's just the guy had a vision. I just want to know what the hell he was trying to do.
Yeah. Some of the actors in the movie, some of them are on different wavelengths. Some of them seems like they're, the Robert Class is on a way different wavelength than Natalia Emanuel, and same thing with John Voight and John Carlos Esposito. It's just like, okay,
they're in different movies.
They're in different movies. That's what's going to happen in here. So for me, I think I'm going to give it the lowest rating out of everybody here. I'm going to give it a low street there for me. That's it. I appreciate the art of it. Appreciate what Francis Ford Coppola, the dedication he had, selling the part of his vineyard, wanted to make this movie. But that doesn't mean I gotta like it. It's because I appreciate.
I got you. Hey man, that way you can be at home when you get drunk and watch this.
Yeah. Zach gave it a peek. Chris gave it a tune in. Dusk gave it a tune in, and I gave it a low street there for Megalopolis. There, they were saying that this is basically how Megalopolis is edited.
Oh, hey man. Oh, you know what? Before I forget again, Tom, we're gonna bring you in for an interview. That's great. Right? Thanks, man. Hey, of course. Je combats at your convenience. Thank you, sir. Go get him. Oh!
I mean, that definitely fits the Coliseum Adam Driver tripping ball scene.
Yes, that was
That's
so
definitely
accurate.
the way it was
That was
cut.
crazy.